your honest thoughts overall about WrestleMania as a pay-per-view.
Honest thoughts. It was a it was SmackDown or Raw with an attitude.
Yep.
That that's pretty much it. It wasn't.
With an attitude. Not even what do you mean by attitude?
It had so with the attitude, like there were some PLE, uh, s- you know, style matches or worthy matches, but for the most part, I could watch this on Raw or watch this on SmackDown. Like this wasn't. It, wa- it was. I'm glad I didn't have to pay for it. Put it like that.
Hey man, hey guys, you guys can watch wrestling anytime.
I'm really glad I did not have to pay for this because honestly, I'd feel gypped. Like it was an incomplete show. I felt like most of the storylines turned out to be like incomplete thoughts or incomplete sentence or paragraph.
That's
There were
such
things
yep.
missing.
Yep, that's such a good point. That like I was thinking all weekend how to explain it. Incomplete thoughts, incomplete sentences, nobody proofread this shit. Like
Dude, exactly. Like honestly, I feel like it was I feel like it was like a high school student that really needed at least a B to to pass and just threw some shit into the teacher so he could play sports and like, you know what? Go. We need to win. Like that's pretty much what it was. It was not looked at. It was not going through. Like no one could have looked at that show and said, you know what, this is perfect, because it wasn't. And I'm sitting there, I'm watching my feed because if you guys missed it, I was saying stuff on Instagram. I was very active on Instagram, um, and I literally in the middle of the show, I was like, the first night one, I said, I am giving it a low C. I think that's what it deserves, a low C, and that might be too good for it.
mm.
And there were so many people that badmouthed me and said, "What are you talking about? WrestleMania is fire." And I'm like, "You must be WWE fans. Like you have to be a diehard WWE fan to find this show fire."
Well, even diehard WWE fans were crashing out about how bad this show was overall.
Exactly, a lot of them were, and I'm like, "Where are you guys thinking that this is good? Like,
Yeah.
it's not."
Well, we'll dive into like some specific matches because obviously the main events and some of the shenanigans that went into them are worth talking about. But let's dive into night one first. I think everyone's kind of in agreement. Night one was of the two nights overall the weaker night.
Yep,
Um,
yep,
look, this is no shade to any of the talent. There's a lot of talent
nope,
on this card that you and I both like.
absolutely,
But if we're being honest with ourselves, there were two matches, probably three, you could say, that were fine to good,
yeah,
and one
yeah.
really big and I think worthy WrestleMania moment. And then a lot of the other stuff was just, again, you could have been on a really good episode of SmackDown, could have been on a
Yeah.
PLE, could have been on main event to varying degrees.
Yeah,
But like, let's start off with Jey Uso and Gunther. Look, my expectations were very low for this match. I'll be honest with you.
absolutely. Same.
I thought that it's possible that Jey Uso, who like he's had good matches with the likes of Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker and um um and even Seth Rollins, but this was not a world championship match. This did not feel like a Royal
Nope.
Rumble winner heading in. The
No.
people weren't even yeeting.
No, they weren't. He didn't. That first and foremost, let's get this out of the way. That crowd was dead.
The crowd was
De-
crazy
Dead.
dead.
Dude, like it was it was awful. Like I've never seen a crowd at a big time pay-per-view like that bad. I've seen them bad, but not quite that bad.
Insane, bro. I'm just dumbfounded. Like, here's the thing. Look, you pay the amount of money it goes to WrestleMania. I'm not gonna say, and you do whatever you want because
Right.
it is your money. You used it apparently when you needed it. But like, I'm just kind of being like, if I'm spending like 20 grand, like some of these people did, to go to a WrestleMania, In $20,000, dude, to sit on the floor. $20,000. They had
Yep,
seats on the stage too, which were
they
tens
did.
of thousands of dollars. If I'm paying all that money, Trevor, to go to, I am going to be the loudest mother lover on that entire
Oh
like
yeah,
show.
you could be able to hear me back in like you can be able to hear me back in like if I'm in Las Vegas, you're gonna hear me in New York because I'm
That
gonna be the
ass.
one of the loudest
On
dudes
God.
there.
On God.
I'm serious. Because, like, I'm planning on going New Orleans next year. I'm planning on going WrestleMania New Orleans. And I'm at this point, I'm actually quite frightened because I don't want it to be another shit show like this. I mean, you have a whole year to hope and pray, but honestly, even if it's bad, you're still gonna hear me.
Yeah. It- I mean, what do we say? Like, what do you say? And then we got the New Day and the Viking or the War Raiders. Like, I love these guys. A nothing match. Did not need to be on this show.
Like, so Jay Uso and Gunther. Okay, when I say this, it doesn't mean much, but it was better than I thought it was gonna be. But that's not saying much because my expectations were very low. But it was better than I thought it was gonna be. I did have a problem with him doing every move that in Gunther's like trick bag. I had a problem with that. I did. It made him look incapable of doing anything without the help of someone else's moves, and it just didn't hit right.
And you could tell, dude, like, I the second Gunther came out, and this is just like me, like projecting, like I don't know anything. The second Gunther came out, and the way he was looking, I was like, that is a man who is about to lose his title, and he is pissed about it.
Oh, he was not happy. He was not happy at all. His expression on his face the entire time looked like somebody stole his last cookie, and he was pissed off about it.
And like it, dude, it's one thing. Like I have no problem. Let me be clear. Jey Uso is winning this match. I'm not going to delude myself into thinking he was not going to. I have no
Right.
issue with Jay winning. I have no issue with whatever. But and I'm sick of like the. We can talk about this a little bit later too. I mean, nah, let's fuck it. Let's talk about it now. I'm
Do
really
it
sick
loud.
of this mentality that some people have online, right? And I'm not like, again, I don't, is what it is. Like people are allowed to talk about whatever they want. It's the beauty of the freedom
Professional
of
wrestler, yeah.
speech and all that. Speech. Can't even speak right now. But dude, I'm so fucking tired of people telling me, well, it made sense in the storyline. It made sense in the storyline. It made sense in the storyline.
What
Yes,
storyline?
yes, things can make sense in the storyline. For years, what was the biggest thing we were saying about WWE? The criticism was always things don't make sense. Things don't make sense. And I understand that. I understand that like now that things make a little bit more sense than they used to, people are going to give a lot of goodwill to Triple H and he deserves a lot of it because that's how bad the product was under Vince McMahon.
Yep.
But we're 3 years into this. At this point, I don't just expect Triple H to be telling logical stories. I expect him to be doing shit that isn't going to bore people out of their fucking mind. And that's what WrestleMania did. You could say, yes, the right people won. Some of these matches were really good. Io Sky, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley probably had the best opener of any WrestleMania of all time.
Exactly. But that's night two. And I mean,
I mean, but like I'm talking about Mania as a whole. Like you have these people online who get on their little I'm on the internet and I'm gonna like you have all these people going out online and they're talking about how this is logical storytelling, this is logical storytelling. Bro, everything the brand did in Game of Thrones was logical storytelling. That doesn't mean it wasn't ass when he ended up being the king.
stop him when he's telling lies. Like, I mean, honestly, like, okay. Here's the thing. There was a story with Gunther and Jay. Yes. And what we thought was gonna happen, happened. Like I said, whatever. The match was whatever. Happy for Jay. I am. I really truly am. I like if anyone deserves it, Jay deserves it. Explain the New Day and Viking Raiders. Because there was no story there. None.
What do you mean?
There was
You know
no
what the
story there.
worst part about that was, Trevor? The entire promo package of that match was building up the big confrontation they had with Big E, which is
Yep,
the only good thing that the New Day have done on TV over the last couple of months. The first
exactly.
heel promo was the peak, and the entire promo package built up that moment. And what did we not get? We did not get a Big E appearance. We did not get
Nope.
any real reference to Big E. We did not get any storyline development with Big E. We did not get anything. Nothing to do with Big E. And you're going to have people be like, oh, well, this is part of the larger plan. You're not seeing it. There is no fucking larger plan. The Rock landed out of the bag. Everything's being done on the fly. There is nothing.
Exactly.
It's broken.
It's broken. It's not. There's nothing being done. But here's the thing: if you pay real close attention in the match, in all of the matches, you can see a lot of that is done on the fly. Because if you look at, especially in the even as good as that match was, especially, or no, actually, no, go back. The Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton match. Oh, they Flair looked like a deer caught in the headlights. She didn't look like she knew what the hell was going on. Like it in that, and to me, that was a horrible match. I did. It was sloppy. It was gritty. It was not. I mean, gritty and good can go hand in hand, but that one was not good. But
I,
at the same
I'll
time,
be on the. I enjoyed the Charlotte and Tiffany match.
you did.
I mean,
I mean, it
what?
wasn't terrible. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't
No,
terrible.
but
But
I'll say this. I enjoyed it for the wrong reasons because
gotcha,
I
gotcha.
enjoyed it, like more so as like, oh, the art. I'm like, because
Right,
I got what
right,
they were
right.
trying to do. It just didn't connect with most people. And sorry, I just
No. I get what you're saying. To me, like I said, I think it fell a little flat for most fans, but I get what you mean by the art of it, because like it really what looked like a on the fly match for me, and it looked kind of like a shoot fight, like a shoot match, to a degree. But but I get where you're coming from. I can see where the art form there is, especially for true wrestling historians and fans like ourselves. But no, dude, but like most, like of course, like you said, the tag match, it was no storyline there. They abandoned the whole Big E thing, which they shouldn't have. There was more to do with that. There was more places to go with that story. They abandoned it. Honestly, right now, the New Day being heels ain't working for me. It's not working at all.
my thing is, what the fuck are they doing at WrestleMania? Ain't nobody want to see New Day versus the War Raiders. Why is Roxanne versus Bailey not on this card? Bailey, you took Bailey out of the women's tag match so that you could build up this the attraction of Becky Lynch. Like, shout out to Becky. I'm a huge Becky Lynch mark. I got the
Oh
man
yeah,
shirt in the closet. I'm just ready to go.
same,
But
same.
bro, I'm like Triple H. If you knew Bailey, you could have put anyone else in this spot. Like I'm gonna be honest with you. Bailey is different, bro. It's just the truth. You could have put anybody. You could have put fucking Chelsea Green in this spot. You could have put anybody else in this spot. Chelsea Green would have been even funnier because at least that would have given her an entertaining thing to do. Could you imagine Chelsea Green getting taken out backstage, be like, Adam Pierce, let me speak to your manager while getting hauled into an ambulance? Amazing.
Absolutely.
Amazing. And then you get Becky Lynch's return. Like, whatever. I,
Dude,
it just wasn't
I
fun. It
mean,
just wasn't a fun. It wasn't fun, man. It wasn't fun.
I'm gonna be real with you. And I said this to someone, and they literally looked at me like I was crazy. Tell me why this makes sense. This is the biggest show, this biggest show of this is like your Super Bowl. This is like WWE Super Bowl. This is the biggest show in your company. And you have three titles that are not being represented. Three. SmackDown tag team, Women's Intercontinental, and Women's World. You saw the Intercontinental champion wrestle in a
Women's U.S.
tag
Women's
match.
U.S. Women's
I'm
U.S.
sorry, it was US. Wrestle in a tag match. Makes sense. You saw a weak tag team match from Raw. You didn't see a strong tag team match from the Street Profits. And guess what? The Street Profits are wrestling in a TLC match this Friday. That makes no sense. None. None. And where was Chelsea Green?
She was with Matt. She was like, there's a video. She was with Matt
Matt
Cardona.
Cardona. Yeah, she was there. She was with
Yeah.
Matt Cardona.
Um. I mean, look, we can run through quickly some of these other matches, then we can dive
Yeah,
into some of the bigger
yeah,
ones. I will say one of the few bright spots on Mania Night One: Jade Cargill versus Naomi, 9 minutes
good
20.
match.
Jade got the victory. I thought it was a very good match. This was Naomi's like magnum opus for her career. She did a
Yep.
wonderful job here, and I thought Jade was very strong. There was a spot, dude, where I think Naomi was jumping off the top rope, and then Jade like caught her into a suplex and slammed her down. It was fantastic.
Hmm. Oh yeah, it was a lot of good spots here. I thought it was it was the length it needed to be, and it was the type of match it needed to be. For that, it was good.
Yeah. We also had Jacob Fatu versus L.A. Knight. Yeah, in 10 minutes. Again, this is one of those. I think the right man won.
Yep,
The match was kind of a throwaway. This could have been on Raw.
it could have been. Could have been. For what it wasn't bad, but like you said, the right man won. And again, it could have been a match that you watched on Friday night.
I
Like
would say
honestly.
this is not even like a PLE. Like, here's the thing. Not every match at Mania needs to be a banger. That's not what I'm asking. That's not what you're asking. That's
No,
not what
no, no,
most people
no.
are criticizing are asking. Like, if this was on a card and you had like three certified, like, really strong matches on it, this would be a good filler match. This would be a good match to kind of break the pace. That's fine. It's just a throwaway match, dude. Like on
Yeah.
like just like on a card full of like throwaway matches at this point.
And you know what? At the end of this day, is nothing wrong with that. Like honestly, at all. But like if you're trying, like you say, if this is your baby, this is your bread and butter, you should whatever.
Yeah. We also had El Grande Americano versus Ray Phoenix. I thought the bright spot about this was El Grande Americano's entrance, the mariachi band playing him out to like God Save America or whatever the fuck that was. Amazing.
It was it was very interesting.
Also, like
Very
real
interesting.
quick, can I just say, man, like what is up with Chad Gable missing WrestleMania twice in a row?
Dude, I don't know. He doesn't normally do that. I don't know why he wasn't there. Like it's crazy.
Insane. Like and like look, I was hoping Rey Mysterio got obviously taken out the night before. I was looking forward to Chad Gable versus El Grande Americano personally. Would have loved that.
I mean, it would have made more sense, you
It
know.
made way
But
more sense. Could you imagine? Imagine the match that those two are gonna have. It would be like if El Generico and Sami Zayn, like when those two fight, you know it's gonna be crazy, and I believe it'll happen one
exactly.
day.
You know? It's gonna happen one of these days. One of these days. You know what? It should be Chad Gable and Grande Americano versus the Lucha Bros. That should be a great
No,
tag
no,
team.
no,
That'll be a great
no.
tag team.
How about this? Chad Gable and El Grande Americano versus Sami Zayn and El Generico.
You know what? Sami Zayn and Angelica need to talk again. They haven't been friends for a while. That would be a great
Yeah,
match.
no. Well, El Generico went to the farm in Mexico to go hang out with the orphans. Maybe we got to give him
That's
a
true.
call. We
Yeah,
got to give him a call.
that's true.
But again, Ray Phoenix came out. This was Ray Phoenix's debut on WrestleMania. 7:55 was given to this match. The only big takeaway from this match, like it was fine, but again, it just didn't get enough time to cook. It was
No,
whatever.
no.
The thing about this match was El Grande Americano hit an insane reverse 450 senton.
Dude, yo. Good. Yo, that was probably the one of the moves of the night, honestly.
And look, my sources tell me that El Grande Americano is the ripe old age of 39 doing that. So that's wild. That's just
That's wild.
wild.
That's crazy though. But it was a great move. For what it was all right. I think it lasted the amount of time, and it is what it is.
Yeah. Let's just do rapid fire on some of the next ones, just so we can, because we're going to talk about the main event matches a little bit more in depth.
Gotcha.
Tiffany Stratton, Charlotte Flair. We kind of talked about this. We just touched on this. It was very stiff. Someone in the
Super stiff.
chat said it was like very, very stiff. I think it was Leo Relic. Yep.
Yeah. He said he likes AEW, so he likes stiff matches.
It was a very stiff match.
It was a very stiff match.
These two were beating the crap out of each other. At one point, we all thought Tiffany Stratton lost a tooth. That, in fact, was not true. It,
No, they said she lost a tooth, then they said she chipped a tooth. I don't think any of that is true, actually.
no, because she came out with the press conference and her teeth were fine.
Yeah.
I think it
I
may
mean,
have been
she
like
was.
blood or something that got in there. Who knows?
That's what I'm thinking too. But I will tell you this: anybody that doesn't believe a star was born in that match, it ain't doesn't know what they're talking about. Tiffany Stratton put herself. They put Tiffany Stratton here, beating Charlotte Flair on that bigger stage. Yeah, absolutely.
AJ Styles did crazier things at 39. Not in WWE, he didn't. We obviously had the triple threat match. We'll talk about that later on. Uh, Io Sky, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley. I said it
That
before.
was
I'll say it again.
yeah,
One of probably the best Mania opener of all time.
yeah. That was, but that wasn't that night too.
That was night two. Well, we're going into night two.
Gotcha. Yeah, one of the best. Honestly, I feel like they. Don't get me wrong. I think it set the tone, but I feel like they wasted. They could have did something else opening, and that would have been in that match would have whatever. But that was one of the best openers I've ever seen. That match was fire, and I honestly agree with EO winning that match. I do. I completely agree with it.
Yeah, I think card placement overall was a huge issue with WrestleMania this year. Like this EO Sky triple threat was after night one. I think you needed to start things off strong. You really needed to start things off strong because this changed the vibe. At least for me watching it, I was like, "Oh damn, okay, so night two is the banger night. Let's do it." Because by God, Trevor, the things that these women did in this match were insane. They came out and they were like, I think they came out to make a statement like we should have main evented. And I'm gonna stand by this. People can get mad about it. People can say whatever. This should have main evented over John Cena versus Cody Rhodes on night two. You can
Yeah,
say whatever you want. I'm talking about work rate. I'm talking about match quality. I'm talking about story. All of it was way
yeah.
better. Way better. This deserved to be the main event of WrestleMania.
And the funny thing is, me and you both said the story between but with the three women was but it was decent. It was there, you know what I mean? But it was to me it was better than the Cody Rhodes and Cena.
Oh, we'll talk about that Cody Rhodes Cena. Ooh. Shucky ducky. Drew McIntyre. Was that a good enough Booker T impression for you?
That was decent. That was decent. I'll take
Shucky
it.
ducky, quack quack. Shout out to Booker T. Also, Trevor, do you know how long this match was? The women's triple threat. Guess.
How long was it? What 10 minutes?
It was 14:25.
Really? It didn't even seem long.
I was shocked though, because like originally I was like, I thought this was at least like a 20-minute match. I was like, they did all of
Yeah,
that in 14 minutes is insane. Shout out to them.
that's awesome, man. Hell yeah.
Because usually, especially triple threat matches, like we saw at night one, that triple threat match was half an hour long. Although
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
that was because Roman was involved, so we couldn't actually do wrestling. Um,
We're gonna get to
rapid
that
fire
later too.
here: Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest, Sin City Street Fight. Thoughts?
You know what? I thought it was good. I really did. It wasn't horrible.
It was fine. Like it was fine.
It
It was
was
this good match. Good match.
yeah.
Not gonna
It was
say.
it was I mean it wasn't spectacular. It wasn't a shining grace, but it was better than a lot of things that was on night one.
Yeah, I mean, better than most things that were on night one. Um, and then we got, I thought, another very bright spot. Like, they hit a couple of good matches in a row. Dominic Mysterio, Braun Breaker, Finn Balor, and Penta, Fatal 4-Way for the Intercontinental Championship. Trevor, my one.
Look, I thought that match was amazing, bro. I
Yeah.
I thought that was amazing. I thought it was a great match. Um, I think the right person won it. Um,
Yep.
great match.
Bro.
Great match.
I genuinely think this is the moment that's going to propel Dominic Mysterio to be one of the biggest faces in the company.
Absolutely. It's gonna do it. Cause dude, they started chanting his name during the match. Like he didn't come out to booze. He came out to chant the like praises. And I was like, oh wow, okay.
Also, like, I love how at the end he kind of ad-libbed like a thing where after the match was over, he was on the ramp and then he ran all the way down back to the ring. And it was such a perfect shot because the cameraman started running with him. And then Dominic also runs by Finn Balor. He jumps into the ring and the crowd, like this pop is building as he's running.
Yep.
Dom gets it, man. This man gets wrestling. And
Yeah.
I see an extremely bright future for this kid.
Oh,
Kid, he's
absolutely,
my
man.
age. Jesus, kid.
I'm about to say, is he your age?
Yeah, he's my age.
Oh wow.
Yeah. We were born in like he's a couple months younger than me.
Okay. I actually thought he was like a year or two older than you actually.
No, no, no. I'm old now. I'm old now. About to collect Social Security.
Wait your turn, sir. But no, yeah, man, it was a good match. It was worth watching. And Leo Relic posted something. I didn't know they dropped the remaster on Game Pass. It's crazy. Sorry.
They did, I guess. I don't know. I don't play games.
I,
Anyway, Randy Orton, Joe Henry, pinfall up that. Randy Orton, Joe Henry. Thoughts on this? Randy Orton's mystery opponent was Joe Henry.
the funny thing is, and I told a friend of mine this, even though it was a squash match, Joe Henry's career just like skyrocketed.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. People were very down on this online or whatever. This was
Like
fine. This was
it
good.
was fine.
It was a look.
It was what need is what was supposed to happen. It was what needed. It was a palate cleanser, if you will.
I agree. I think that's the perfect way of putting it. A palate cleanser, bro. Like also, I don't care what you say. You cannot look at Joe Hendry like doing his pose right into an RKO and not think it's one of the funniest things you've seen.
It was absolutely hilarious, and then the fact that he actually did Joe Hendry's pose. I
Now,
thought it was great.
now was the RKO after the fact a bit of a burial? Maybe.
Uh,
Yes.
uh, Yes, absolutely.
But like
But
it is what it is, man. Like look, if you're asking was I sports entertained? I was sports entertained.
and at the end of the day, that's their job. That's what it's supposed to do.
Logan Paul versus AJ Styles, Trevor.
I could have done without this match.
I will say I thought the Karrion Cross stuff was very interesting. Karrion is he- he's trying to he is doing everything in his power to try to get a new contract, and shout out to him. I think he's gonna get
Yeah,
it. I
he,
think
he he really is.
the work he's doing is very strong right now.
And it's funny because he was at GCW not long ago, actually.
He
He
was
was,
he was at a GCW show this weekend.
yeah,
Natalia
yeah,
was too.
it sure
Natalia was
was.
crashing out, fighting everybody.
Was Baszler there too?
Yeah, I think Shayna was at Bloodsport.
Yeah, Shannon was there as well. Yeah,
Yeah. Um.
but no,
So
for what it was fine.
yeah.
Again, like you said, I agree. I do love this what they're doing, what Karrion Cross is doing right now. I think Karrion Cross is he's making himself um popular, and I honestly agree with that. I like that. I mean, Karrion Cross, if you've seen him, when they actually let him wrestle, is a monster in the ring. He has a great personality, but they're doing absolutely nothing with him.
Mm.
So I like what they're doing with him now.
We also had the women's tag match: Lyra Valkyria and a mystery partner versus Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez for the women's tag team titles. What did you think of Becky Lynch's return? She returned and was the mystery partner here.
Love to see Becky Lynch. Always love to see Becky Lynch. Like you said, I'm a huge The Man fan. I'm marked out for her. She wasn't needed.
Mm.
She
Mm-mm.
she she wasn't needed. I know that a lot of people can disagree with me with that, but especially with all you're gonna do is make her feud with Valkyrian, which is fine. But at the same token, did we really need that?
I think this is one of those cases where if the overall like WrestleMania card was better, this wouldn't have been an
Right.
issue. But with Mania, it was like one of those things where these like smaller issues, like these smaller issues help build up the bigger issues, and it just created a pot of crap.